Next up is financial coach Ericka Young, and she joins me to help us have better conversations about money with our spouses. But first, let's take a look at her story.
We were over $90,000 in debt, and we thought it was normal. My husband and I, we were, newlyweds, and we were trying to figure out what our first step ought to be. And he found Dave Ramsey on the radio, and he came home one day and said, "You need to give me that credit card you got." When someone comes to you and they take away your credit card and you think that that's your source of freedom, and actually at that time I was the breadwinner in the family, and so for him to come to me and say, "We've got to stop this behavior," it was hard. It was humbling, actually. I had to, like I said, suck up my pride and just say, okay, what does this look like? The very first win that we had on this journey when we took Financial Peace University is actually having a budget that worked. It felt so good because between us, we had 7 credit cards, and to pay off that first one, that was $600, was huge. When we started to see our debts go down and we started to have a budget that really worked, we started feeling control. That control was something that put us in the driver's seat of being able to make good decisions about our money, for us to have a way and a forum for us to talk about money and to dream about what it is we wanted in the future. And during the time, I wanted to make certain that I could help other people. Like I started asking people, my pastor, my best friend, other people, is this viable? Can I help people with budgets? Is this a real thing? And then when I started meeting with them and starting to see the light bulbs go on for them, that was exciting. And I really lit up inside. Like it was not work per se. I would go to work all day and be drained, and then I would do financial coaching on the side or help somebody with their budget, and I'd be energized. One day, I sat straight up in my bed. I really feel strongly that God said, it's time. I left that work and was able to full-time move into doing financial coaching once we were out of debt. A Ramsey Preferred Coach can help you get faster to your debt-free goal than you would have on your own. They can see into your situation potential options that you may not be able to see because you're emotionally attached to your outcomes. That sometimes clients, when they come to the consultation or come to a coaching session, they're drained, they're tired, they're hopeless, and I get to inject hope into their situations. And to see a single mom pay off her car, or to see a couple be able to pay off $200,000 in debt. But it's also the people who are in between who pay off, say, $10,000 in debt, and they're finally able to say, okay, I can exhale, I can sleep better at night, and I know that we're gonna be okay. I love being able to see people, who know what their finish line looks like in terms of getting out of debt. Like they have a date, I call it a debt-free date, and they're able to just run towards that because they actually have a game plan. That's just fun.
Ericka, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here.
So good to be here. Thanks for having me.
And I love your story and love that you're a financial coach, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, I want to know, what was money like for you growing up?
Tough, honestly. I came from a single parent household, and it was paycheck to paycheck living. It was feast and famine all the time. And it's like Friday comes and now we can spend, and then Monday's back and ease off a little bit. And so that's what we learned. And I wanted something different. And it's just hard to know how to get out of that.
Absolutely. So you're married now. How long have you been married?
21 years.
21 years. Oh, you give me so much marriage advice for this only 10, been married for 10 years.
That's
You're double. You have double the knowledge of me. Okay, so for you and your husband, what is money like for you guys?
It's a daily thing. You have to have conversations all the time. Things change. And we've got 2 kids. And so as they've grown up, we've grown up in money things. And all of our conversations adjust as they've had, different things that they go through, and college student, all of that kind of stuff. Yes. So we try and work through all of it together. I think it's just important to be a team.
Absolutely. And we were talking about conflict in this episode and fighting with your spouse and how that happened. So I'd love to know, have you and Chris ever fought about money? I'm assuming the answer is yes, just like everyone else.
Yes.
So what's one of the biggest money fights that you guys have gotten into?
Well, one of our first ones really was, he took the credit cards away from me. So he's the one who had to say, Ericka, stop this. You're not being truthful with yourself in this whole money thing. And I had to put my pride aside and figure this thing out. And
So y'all started at the beginning, and you were like,
Yes.
I don't know about this Dave Ramsey guy.
I was.
Yeah, that's right. You said that. Oh, that's so great. Okay, so you are a Ramsey Preferred Coach. And for you guys at home, in case you don't know, a Ramsey Preferred Coach is a financial coach that we've trained who helps you develop a financial plan for your specific needs and goals. So you can kind of think of them as like your money mentor, if you will. So I want to know, what made you decide to become a financial coach?
Well, it took my husband and I about 5 years to get out of $90,000 in debt. And I started to see how excited I was. And I really wanted to help other people do the same thing in less time, though, because I didn't have a coach. I did FPU and I really wanted to, make a change, but I wanted to help other people do it faster.
Yes, that's so great. And you sit down with people all the time. Do you find that tough conversations are really valuable when couples have them, whether in a session with you or just even at home?
Absolutely. And I think that I encourage them to actually sit down and have this specific conversation with how to do that reasonably so everybody gets heard and you kind of get to some resolution. But it's important to face it. Otherwise, you're not going to make progress.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does that even look like? Like if couples are fighting about money, what's like that first step to start that conversation?
What's the real why? Where are you trying to go? Why do you want to get there? What's really important to the both of you? And how can you support one another in that effort? And it may not look the same for each of you. And the important thing is that you hear one another and then you try to take action that's going to be beneficial for the household. So I just hope they are team couples. That's the important thing, is being a team.
Working together. Oh, it is. It's so key. So when you're having these conversations about money, there's a lot of emotion involved. So where do you see emotion playing into these conversations?
Well, it comes up, and we have to identify it. If people pretend that money is just about the numbers, they're missing a whole big piece of this. And so I let them know this is going to be emotional. So if I just prep them and say, I know that this is going to be challenging, we're going to face it head on. You don't have to do it alone. And here are some tools to make sure that you get through that with, some success on the end and some real practical steps with your budget and your debt reduction strategy.
So with couples that you sit down with, would you say majority of them figure out how to get on the same page? Because you're a trained financial coach, you know how to do it well. And so you really do see success in this area with people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The point is, if they can get through this, they can pretty much talk about anything. Because money is really funny, right? Like, they don't want to have these conversations. But if I can guide them and say, here's what I hear you saying, and here's what I think might be an important way to navigate that, it makes it easier, because that unbiased third party is so vital a lot of the time.
Huge, absolutely. Okay, what would you say to a couple who they keep having the same fight over and over and over? It's like, she keeps spending over the budget, or he's always like so strict and everything. Oh my gosh, like it's that same thing over and over and over. What would you say to couples that have that same fight?
Yeah, they're blaming each other, and they've got to just look at where can I be better? What can I do better? What's going to help us move forward versus pointing the finger at someone else. That's easier to do than looking inward. And so we've got to do that in order to break down some of those walls.
Blaming each other. You heard it right here, people. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.